Hello guys! The twin revelation that could shatter Port Charles, Michael's discovery about Marco. According to emerging storyline speculation, Michael Corinthos may be on the verge of discovering that Marco Rios, the attorney who has been deeply involved in recent Port Charles drama, is actually his twin brother. This revelation would come from what sources describe as an important insider, potentially someone with access to long-buried medical records, adoption documents, or family secrets that have been hidden for decades. The discovery would be particularly devastating given the current circumstances surrounding Marco's situation. Recent episodes have shown Marco being kidnapped by Jason Morgan on Sonny's orders, creating a dangerous scenario where Michael could potentially be unknowingly contributing to his own brother's peril. The irony of this situation would not be lost on General Hospital writers, who have consistently crafted storylines where family members find themselves on opposite sides of conflicts before learning their true relationships. The current landscape, Marco's precarious position. Marco Rios has been established as the son of the antagonistic Jen Sidwell and the late Natalia Ramirez. His recent actions in Port Charles have included saving Christina Corinthos from a deadly fire at Charlie's pub, demonstrating an inherent goodness that could hint at deeper family connections. However, his association with Sidwell has put him directly in Sonny Corinthos' crosshairs, leading to his current captivity. The timing of this potential twin revelation couldn't be more dramatic. Marco is currently being held by Jason as leverage against Sidwell, with Sonny demanding that his enemy withdraw support for various political campaigns and cease his attacks on the Corinthos organization. The stakes have never been higher, and the addition of a family connection would transform this from a business conflict into a deeply personal family crisis. Carly's maternal instincts, a plea for mercy. When Carly Spencer learns the truth about Marco's identity as Michael's twin brother, her reaction would likely be immediate and intense. Known for her fierce protective instincts when it comes to her children, Carly would undoubtedly rush to confront Sonny, begging him to spare Marco's life. This confrontation would represent one of the most emotionally charged moments in recent General Hospital history. Carly's plea would carry additional weight given her complicated history with Sonny and their shared commitment to protecting their family at all costs. The knowledge that she potentially has another son, one who has been living under an assumed identity and raised by enemies, would trigger every maternal instinct she possesses. Her confrontation with Sonny would likely involve desperate appeals to his better nature, reminders of their own children's safety, and emotional manipulation designed to prevent a family tragedy. The historical context: General Hospital's twin tradition. General Hospital has a rich tradition of twin storylines that have captivated audiences for decades. From the classic Kevin Collins and Ryan Chamberlain dynamic to the more recent revelation of Jason Morgan and Drew Kane's twin relationship, the show has consistently used twin revelations to create dramatic tension and explore themes of nature versus nurture, family bonds, and identity. The potential Michael and Marco twin storyline would fit perfectly into this established pattern while offering fresh opportunities for character development and dramatic conflict. Unlike previous twin revelations, this one would occur in the midst of an active conflict between their respective families, adding layers of complexity that could sustain storylines for months or even years. The implications for character development. If this twin revelation proves accurate, it would fundamentally alter several key character arcs. Michael, who has recently been portrayed by Rory Gibson following Chad Duell's departure, would face an identity crisis as he grapples with having a brother who was raised by his father's enemies. The nature versus nurture debate would become central to his character development as he questions whether Marco's different upbringing has made him fundamentally different, despite their shared genetics. Marco, meanwhile, would face the devastating realization that everything he believed about his identity was false. Having lost his mother Natalia in recent episodes and now learning that Sidwell may not be his biological father, he would be completely adrift, forced to rebuild his understanding of himself and his place in the world. The ripple effects throughout Port Charles. This revelation would send shockwaves throughout the entire Port Charles community. Lucas Jones, who has been developing romantic feelings for Marco, would find himself potentially involved with a member of the Corinthos family, a connection that would complicate his own relationships and loyalties within the community. The legal implications would also be significant. Marco's work as an attorney and his involvement in various Port Charles legal matters would take on new meaning if he were revealed to be Sonny's son. Questions about conflicts of interest, family loyalty, and professional ethics would create additional layers of dramatic tension. Sonny's dilemma: family loyalty versus justice. For Sonny Corinthos, learning that Marco is his son would create an unprecedented moral dilemma. Known for his fierce family loyalty, Sonny has consistently prioritized protecting his children above all else. However, Marco's association with Sidwell and the recent attacks on his family would make forgiveness difficult, even for a newfound son. The internal conflict would be devastating for Sonny's character. His natural instinct to protect family would war with his need for justice and his responsibility to defend his existing children from Sidwell's attacks. This psychological torment would provide Maurice Benard, who portrays Sonny, with rich material for the kind of emotional performance that has earned him critical acclaim throughout his tenure on the show. Next, we will learn about the explosive developments set to unfold during the pivotal week of July 21st to 25th, where family secrets collide with dangerous vendettas and unexpected reunions threaten to reshape Port Charles forever. Drew Cain's calculated revenge reaches dangerous heights. The week opens with Drew Cain orchestrating what could be his most devastating move yet in his ongoing war against Michael Corinthos. Sources reveal that Drew's meticulously crafted plan involves manipulating circumstances to paint Michael as an unstable and unfit father figure. This calculated assault on Michael's parental credibility appears designed to create a perfect storm that would result in Willow Tate gaining full custody of the children, effectively severing Michael's connection to his own family. Drew's strategy reportedly includes gathering evidence of Michael's involvement in questionable business dealings, his connection to the mob through Sonny, and potentially exploiting any moments of poor judgment that could be twisted to suggest he poses a danger to the children's well-being. The psychological warfare Drew is waging goes beyond simple business rivalry. This is personal destruction at its most ruthless. Insiders suggest that Drew may have enlisted the help of certain legal professionals who specialize in custody battles, and he's prepared to use every dirty trick in the book to ensure Michael loses everything that matters most to him. Jason Morgan's airport mystery, the ghost from the past. Meanwhile, Jason Morgan finds himself grappling with a mystery that could shake the very foundations of what everyone believes about life and death in Port Charles. The seasoned enforcer experiences what can only be described as a shocking moment when he catches what appears to be a glimpse of Britt Westburn at the airport, a woman who is supposed to be dead and buried. This sighting sends Jason into a spiral of questions and possibilities that he's uniquely qualified to understand. Having cheated death himself on multiple occasions, Jason knows better than anyone that resurrection isn't just possible in Port Charles, it's practically a tradition. The question burning in his mind isn't whether someone could fake their death and return, but rather who would have the resources and motivation to help Britt accomplish such an elaborate deception. Jason's investigation into this potential miracle will likely lead him to confide in Carly Spencer, whose own experiences with presumed deaths and dramatic returns make her the perfect sounding board for such an extraordinary situation. Their conversation promises to be filled with speculation about who might have helped Britt stage her death, what she's been doing during her absence, and most importantly, why she's chosen now to resurface in Port Charles. Sonny's dangerous game with Jen Sidwell intensifies. The ongoing power struggle between Sonny Corinthos and the formidable Jen Sidwell continues to escalate, with Marco Rios's freedom hanging in the balance. Sonny's demands have created a pressure cooker situation where Sidwell must prove his capability to deliver results while maintaining his own dignity and authority. The criminal mastermind faces a crucial test of his influence and resources as he attempts to secure Marco's release from whatever dangerous situation he's found himself in. However, those familiar with Sidwell's reputation know that he doesn't respond well to ultimatums, regardless of who issues them, even if he manages to meet Sonny's current demands. The humiliation of being forced into compliance will likely fuel a desire for revenge that could ignite an even more dangerous phase of their conflict. Port Charles residents should brace themselves for potential collateral damage as these two powerful men engage in what promises to be an increasingly destructive game of one-upmanship. Professor Dalton's mysterious career connection. In a subplot that promises to tie into larger mysteries, Professor Henry Hank Dalton finds himself facing accountability for his recent lack of progress and suspicious stall tactics. His upcoming meeting with a mysterious courier who reports directly to an undisclosed boss suggests that Dalton is involved in something far more complex and dangerous than his academic facade would suggest. The timing of this courier meeting raises intriguing possibilities about the identity of this messenger. Could this be connected to the Brit Westburn sighting that has Jason so puzzled? If Brit is indeed alive and operating as someone's agent, her role as a courier would explain both her presence in Port Charles and her ability to remain hidden for so long. The implications for Jocelyn Jacks could be significant if her curiosity leads her to follow this trail and witness what could be a shocking reunion with someone she believed was dead. Rocco's bold move, seeking truth from Liesl Obrecht. Perhaps the most emotionally charged storyline of the week involves young Rocco Falcone's decision to take matters into his own hands by arranging a private meeting with Liesl Obrecht. This isn't a casual encounter. Rocco has gone to the trouble of dressing up for the occasion, demonstrating the seriousness with which he approaches this opportunity to learn about his family history and birth story. Liesl, never one to pass up an opportunity to share dramatic revelations, will undoubtedly relish the chance to enlighten Rocco about Brit and other family secrets that have been kept from him. Her delight in finally having an eager audience for her stories promises to make this conversation both enlightening and potentially explosive. The information she shares could reshape Rocco's understanding of his family connections and provide him with knowledge that his parents have deliberately withheld. The inevitable confrontation between Dante Falconeri and Lulus Spencer regarding Rocco's independent decision to involve Obrecht in his life will test their parenting approach and their son's growing desire for autonomy. Rocco's determination to make his own choices about who he trusts and what he wants to know represents a significant shift in family dynamics that his parents will struggle to control. Portia's crossroads, marriage, revenge, and new romance. Dr. Portia Robinson stands at a critical juncture where her personal and professional lives intersect in complicated ways. Her determination could manifest in multiple directions, whether she's focusing on salvaging her troubled marriage to Curtis Ashford, plotting Drew's downfall, or perhaps pursuing both objectives simultaneously. The complexity of her situation requires careful navigation as she balances her various loyalties and desires. The growing connection between Portia and Isaiah Gannon represents more than just a potential romantic distraction. It symbolizes her emotional journey away from Curtis and toward someone who might better understand and appreciate her current needs. As Portia continues to drift from her husband, the chemistry with Isaiah becomes increasingly difficult to ignore, setting up what could be a passionate affair that changes everything for both of them. Next, we will learn about the issue that's tearing apart one of Port Charles' most beloved couples as Dante Falconeri and Lulus Spencer find themselves trapped in an escalating war that threatens to destroy not only their romantic future but the very foundation of their blended family dynamics. The catastrophic secret that shattered everything. The devastating revelation that Giovanni Joe Palmieri is actually Danny's biological son has created a domino effect of destruction that continues to ripple through multiple families in Port Charles. What began as Lulu's well-intentioned but ultimately catastrophic slip of the tongue has morphed into a full-scale family crisis that exposes the fragile nature of secrets in a town where everyone's lives are interconnected. The accidental disclosure didn't just reveal paternity, it unveiled years of carefully constructed lies, hidden truths, and the complex web of relationships that bind these characters together in ways they never fully understood. Lulu's momentary lapse in judgment has proven to be the catalyst for a series of events that no one could have predicted or prepared for. The weight of her mistake grows heavier with each passing day as she watches the collateral damage spread through her family like wildfire. Her natural instinct to protect and nurture has been twisted into something that feels destructive and harmful, leaving her questioning every decision she's made and every word she's spoken. The guilt consumes her thoughts during quiet moments, making it impossible to find peace even in the sanctuary of her own home. Brooklyn's calculated revenge campaign. Brooklyn Quartermain's decision to weaponize Rocco Falconeri's birth story represents a new low in the ongoing feud that has consumed multiple generations of Port Charles families. Her thirst for vengeance has transformed what should have been a private family matter into a public spectacle that threatens to traumatize innocent children caught in the crossfire. The methodical way she's approaching this revenge suggests a level of planning and malicious intent that goes far beyond simple retaliation. This is character assassination, designed to inflict maximum emotional damage on everyone involved. The connection to Britt Westburn's controversial legacy adds another layer of complexity to Brooklyn's scheme, as she deliberately invokes memories of past betrayals and family secrets that were meant to remain buried. By dragging Britt's name into this mess, Brooklyn is essentially weaponizing the dead, using past grievances to justify present cruelties. This calculated move demonstrates her willingness to exploit any vulnerability, no matter how painful or personal, to achieve her goals of destroying her enemy's happiness and stability. Dante's protective fury and emotional shutdown. Dante's transformation from loving partner to cold and forgiving adversary represents one of the most dramatic character shifts viewers have witnessed in recent months. His protective instincts, once considered one of his most admirable qualities, have become a barrier that prevents him from seeing Lulu's perspective or acknowledging her genuine remorse. The intensity of his anger suggests deeper wounds that go beyond this single incident, perhaps touching on his own experiences with abandonment, betrayal, and the complexities of blended family dynamics. His unwavering focus on shielding both Joe and Rocco from further emotional harm has created a fortress around his heart that Lulu cannot penetrate. Every attempt she makes to explain her actions or express her regret is met with stony silence or cutting remarks that reveal the depth of his disappointment. The man who once fought for their love now seems determined to punish her for a mistake that, while significant, was never intended to cause such widespread devastation. The stark contrast between Dante's treatment of Lulu versus his compassionate response to Brooklyn's role in Gio's pain reveals troubling inconsistencies in his judgment. While he can extend understanding and empathy to Brooklyn, he seems incapable of offering the same grace to the woman he once promised to love unconditionally. This double standard hasn't gone unnoticed by viewers, who are beginning to question whether Dante's reaction is truly about protecting his children or if it's being driven by deeper and resolved issues within their relationship. Lulu's desperate battle for redemption. Lulu's current emotional state can best be described as a woman fighting for her very survival in a world that seems determined to condemn her. Her attempts to prove her love and dedication to the family are met with indifference or outright hostility, leaving her feeling isolated and increasingly desperate. The woman who once commanded respect as a fierce journalist and devoted mother now finds herself begging for forgiveness that may never come. Her work with the Longview Banner has become both a blessing and a curse, providing necessary distraction from her personal turmoil while simultaneously serving as a reminder of her professional capabilities and independence. The irony isn't lost on her that she can investigate and expose the truth in her professional life while struggling to convince the people closest to her of her own genuine intentions. Each article she writes, each story she pursues, becomes a small victory in a life that feels increasingly defined by defeat. The weight of Rocco's newfound doubts about his mother's love adds another layer of heartbreak to Lulu's already overwhelming emotional burden. The child she's raised and nurtured is now questioning everything she's ever told him, creating a painful distance between them that mirrors the growing chasm in her relationship with Dante. Her maternal instincts scream at her to fight harder, to find new ways to reach her son, but every effort seems to backfire or cause additional complications. The brothers' potential alliance. The developing relationship between Joe and Rocco represents perhaps the only positive outcome that could emerge from this family crisis. Both boys are struggling with questions of identity, belonging, and trust that only they can truly understand. Their shared experience of having their worlds turned upside down by adult decisions and secret revelations creates a unique bond that could transcend the anger and resentment swirling around them. Gio's natural protective instincts toward his newly discovered younger brother could provide the emotional anchor that Rocco desperately needs as he navigates this confusing period of his life. The older boy's understanding of what it feels like to have your entire identity questioned overnight makes him uniquely qualified to offer comfort and guidance. However, his own complicated feelings about the situation, combined with his desire to maintain his father's approval, create internal conflicts that make reaching out to Rocco feel risky and potentially counterproductive. Rocco's upcoming relationship with Liesl Obrecht represents another potential minefield in the family's already explosive dynamics. His search for answers and connections outside his immediate family circle suggests a deeper need for understanding and acceptance that his parents are currently unable to provide. Gio's recognition of his brother's vulnerability could motivate him to step forward as a source of support, despite the potential consequences from their father. The Obrecht connection and its implications. Liesl Obrich's entry into Rocco's life represents a dangerous wild card that could either provide the healing he needs or create additional chaos in an already unstable family situation. Her complex history with the Falconeri family, combined with her own unique perspective on secrets, lies, and family loyalty, makes her both a valuable ally and a potential threat. Her willingness to engage with Rocco during this vulnerable time suggests she sees an opportunity to influence the next generation while potentially settling old scores. The relationship between Rocco and Liesl could serve as a catalyst for even greater family upheaval, especially if she encourages him to assert his independence in ways that further alienate him from his parents. Her own experiences with family trauma and betrayal could make her either an understanding mentor or a manipulative influence who uses his pain for her own purposes. The unpredictability of her involvement adds yet another layer of uncertainty to an already volatile situation. Fan reactions and community division. The passionate debates among General Hospital fans reflect the complexity of this storyline and the genuine emotional investment viewers have in these characters. The divided opinions about whether Dante's reaction is justified or overly harsh demonstrate the nuanced nature of family conflict and the different ways people process betrayal and disappointment. Some fans see Dante's protective stance as admirable parenting, while others view it as a necessarily cruel punishment of someone who never intended to cause harm. This fan division mirrors real-world disagreements about forgiveness, accountability, and the appropriate response to unintentional mistakes that cause significant harm. The storyline has touched on universal themes of family loyalty, trust, and the complex dynamics that exist within blended families, making it resonate with viewers who have experienced similar challenges in their own lives. The path forward, reconciliation or permanent separation. The ultimate question facing Dante and Lulu is whether their love can survive this crisis or if the damage is too severe to repair. Their individual responses to stress and conflict have revealed fundamental differences in their approaches to forgiveness, communication, and family dynamics that may be irreconcilable. The path back to each other requires both parties to acknowledge their mistakes, extend grace, and prioritize their relationship over their individual pride and pain. The future of their family depends not just on their ability to forgive each other, but on their willingness to work together to heal the wounds that have been inflicted on their children. The stakes couldn't be higher. Failure to find common ground could result in permanent family fragmentation that affects multiple generations. Success, however, could strengthen their bond and create a foundation for even greater love and understanding than they've ever experienced before.